When we think of flags, we think of static, motionless symbols. Okay, unless they wave. But what if we treated each element of a flag as a physical object subject to gravity? But before we get to this point, we need to do some preparation. We can't use normal images because a PNG is just a grid of colored pixels. It cannot differentiate the stars and the stripes from the background. Instead, we need to use SVGs, which are basically instructions on how to draw each element of a flag. For example, in order to draw the flag of Cameroon, we start with a red rectangle as the background, then add a green rectangle, a yellow one, and a star in the middle. These are the individual shapes that make up the flag of Cameroon. But for more complex flags like San Marino, some elements, such as the coat of arms, consist of many smaller shapes. In those cases, I sometimes group related shapes together so they behave as a single object. Whether shapes are grouped or not heavily depends on how the SVG is built. However, if elements are grouped but don't actually touch, like the stars on the US flag, they need to remain separate, because I don't want them to behave like this. So now I have all the separate elements for each flag, and I need to set rules on how they will behave when gravity turns on. Right now, if I let the elements fall, they simply disappear off the screen. So the first rule is that the flag's original dimensions should act as invisible walls that nothing can go through. But this feels unnatural, so we need to add some bounds. This is much better. Now the simplest version would be to let every element fall independently, but that would be a bit boring. When possible, I want the elements to collide with each other. And after a lot of debugging, I was able to come up with a working solution. The final touch was to add sound. I used 3 different pitches based on the size of the elements colliding. The volume changes depending on how strong the collision is, and the panning shifts based on the exposition of the impact. Yes, this sounds realistic enough. But before we continue, we have to address the elephants in the room. France, Italy, Sweden, the United Kingdom, and many other flags already have all their individual elements touching the bottom wall in a stable state, so there is no animation for them. On the other hand, some of my favorites are those with a lot of moving parts, like Brazil, Belarus, El Salvador, Paraguay, Turkmenistan, but also flags with unexpected behavior, like Australia, Pakistan, Nepal, South Africa, and Vanuatu. You can watch the animations for all flags in my second channel, link is in the description. This project was a lot of fun to make, and if you want to see more content like this, consider leaving a like and subscribing. See you next time.